Hey, this is Lauren Janae, the corporate coach, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, and I hope that you have been enjoying this series on emotional intelligence. I know I have. So just a little recap, we've already talked about self-awareness, and self-awareness is knowing your feelings and acknowledging those feelings, and then of course looking at yourself objectively. The next topic that we discussed was self-management, and self-management is to learn how to manage yourself through those emotions as they come up. And now today we're going to talk about social awareness. So this is the one that I have studied the most because I needed the most help in this area. So we all have those friends, and maybe you are one of those people, but we all have those friends that as soon as they walk into the room, they understand the social dynamics, they understand the social norms, people just gravitate to them, they can read the room, they can read people's emotions, they know what's going on with other people before those people say anything about what's going on with them. Sometimes it can be a little scary, but it's like a sixth sense that people have. Taking the time to understand people's emotions around you is extremely crucial for a leader to understand and to know, and a skill that they need to build, because social awareness helps you to build relationships, to get trust from your team, and also to get buy-in from those around you. The official definition of social awareness is the ability to take the perspective of and empathize with others, including those from diverse backgrounds and culture. Observing others' behavior goes beyond people watching. Socially aware leaders, they pay attention to body language, they pay attention to emotional cues, they pay attention to how people are looking, how they're feeling. Socially aware leaders can adapt to the emotional cues that they get from their team and from those that are around them. 3 critical components of social awareness are empathy, perspective taking, and adaptability. Empathy is the ability to share and to understand the emotions of others. If you are not an empathetic person, that's okay. A lot of people have to practice being empathetic. That's right, some people were not born with an innate skill to be empathetic. So if you are learning to be empathetic, one of the things that I would encourage you to do is not going into situations wanting to fix it, and not going into situations being judgmental. When practicing social awareness, it's really important not to rush into different situations ready to respond. Sometimes people just want someone to listen to them. They don't want a solution, they don't want a quick fix, they just want someone to acknowledge their feelings and to be able to vent and to get all of that frustration and emotional outbursts out. I believe that one of the hardest parts about being a leader is learning when to be quiet, observant, and just allow people to express themselves. Because we were chosen to be leaders because we were quiet and sat in the corner. We were chosen to be leaders because we have solutions, we know how to be productive, and we know how to get things done. But sometimes the opposite of that is needed as leaders. Sometimes we just have to sit, listen to our teams, and allow them to get out their frustrations, allow them to vent, allow them to get out the information that they need to in order to be productive later. The next topic is perspective. Perspective is to have a particular attitude toward or way of regarding something, a point of view. Everyone is going to have a different opinion on how tasks and projects should be deployed to completion, but not everyone has the same knowledge, information, and experience. And as leaders, we have to be sure to respect everyone's perspective. That means taking their experience into account. Also understand that your experience may exclude the experience of others. That's why taking into account people's perspective is so important. An example of this is generational differences. So on my team currently, I have someone from Gen Z, a millennial, and Gen X. And I am a millennial, so that's the perspective of life that I have. So one of the things that I have to be sure to do is to take the experience and not discount the experience of others as I make decisions. I try to come together as a team to make sure that I'm not missing out on knowledge and experience and information that other people have, and to take their perspective into consideration so that I can make the best decision possible when I only have a limited amount of experience, information, and knowledge. And that's another reason why empathy is so important. Empathy is going to give us the tools to be able to take those perspectives, to be aware of those perspectives, and to take them and incorporate them into our own perspective. The last component is adaptability. Adaptability is going to give us the opportunity to take those perspectives, to take that experience, to take that information and knowledge that other people have and incorporate it into what we are currently doing. And so adaptable people are able to look at a situation, see what needs to change, and adapt to that, and to change their perspective or to change what they were getting ready to do in order to line up with what needs to be done. Being an adaptable leader is going to come easy for some, or if you're like me, you have to write down different ways to help you to be adaptable. So for example, one of the things that I do is as I'm listening to my team or listening to peers or listening to my leaders and bosses, a lot of times what I'll do is make sure that I'm taking really good notes, but then also when I am going back to make decisions, taking those notes and making sure that I am incorporating their thoughts, their emotions, their questions, the things that they've asked me to do into the decision that I'm going to make in order to propose a solution for a problem. Another perspective of this, of someone who's learning to be empathetic and take on perspective and be adaptable, is when you're talking with a teammate or someone who reports to you and they let you know that their mother is sick, or they let you know that they have a sick child or dog or animal, writing it down so that the next time you talk to them, you can ask them about how that situation is going. And I know you may look at me and say, well, isn't that something that everyone does? That's not necessarily true. Some people really have to practice and take the time to remember to ask people about how those things are going. But that's why this whole emotional intelligence journey is something that you can continue to practice. Something that comes easy for you may not come easy to other people, and that's okay. One last comment that I'll make about socially aware leaders is that they do not make assumptions. They ask questions. So instead of making an assumption that someone that reports to you is late, and they're late because they're lazy, or they're late because of some erroneous reason, you can take that situation and just ask them, hey, so-and-so, why were you late today? And instead of always thinking about the worst, just truly not making assumptions and asking questions and listening without already knowing in your head what's going on with that person. So let's recap. Social awareness is the ability to understand and be aware of people's emotions around. 3 critical components of social awareness are empathy, perspective, and adaptability. Next week, we will finally get to the last component of emotional intelligence, and that's relationship management. But in order to build relationships, you have to understand all 3 of the other components. So if you have not watched those videos, be sure to go check them out. They'll be linked in the description below. And also, thanks so much for liking, sharing, and commenting on this video. It's very much appreciated. And until next time, have a great week.